Now hear this, good people of Whitechapel, hear this. A murder, a great, horrible, grisly murder. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are doing another movie review. This is Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. From 1971, released by Hammer Films and directed by Roy Ward Baker. Who is definitely a staple of Hammer. He's directed several Hammer films. The film stars Ralph Bates in the role of Dr. Henry Jekyll, and Martine Beswick in the role of Sister Hyde. So the film is loosely based on the novella The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, with one major twist, of course. The film also stars Susan Broderick in the role of Susan Spencer, and Gerald Sim in the role of Professor Robertson, and Louis Fiander in the role of Howard Spencer, Susan's brother. So we begin the film with Dr. Jekyll in his laboratory, and he's working on some experiments, and apparently his plan is to come up with a major antidote that would cure several diseases, not just one, but several. So you might say he's kind of overreaching a little bit. His friend and mentor, Professor Robertson, says, hey, by the time you come up with this, you'll be dead, you'll be an old man, yeah. So he's like, well, maybe we better take different measures, looking at from a different perspective, and he's wants to come up what he calls the elixir of life, and use the hormones of women in his experiment. He figures, yeah, women usually outlast men. They live longer, they keep their hair and all, They have better, immune systems. So, yeah, he figures if he could come up with something that'll make people live longer, maybe inject some female hormones into a serum, and that's exactly what he does. And in doing so, he uses the female hormones of recently deceased young women. So he visits the local mortician, and strikes up a deal, pays him a bunch of money, and the local mortician happens to be a necrophile. And they don't make any bones about it. It's pretty obvious, He's like, when Dr. Jekyll picks one of the women, he's like, well, there's no accounting for taste. It's like, damn, what's this guy doing? He also enlists the help of a couple, local grave robbers, And when things don't work out with that, he ends up having to take matters into his own hands, and he starts killing women himself. He roams the street at night with his top hat and his long cloak, and here we have huge elements of Jack the Ripper. So yeah, not only is this based on Dr. Jekyll's story, but of course the legendary story of Jack the Ripper, this brutal killer that takes women out left and right, roaming the streets of England, taking out young prostitutes. Figuring that maybe, they're prostitutes, maybe no one will miss them, At least that's what's in his mind, And of course the police they have no idea what's going on. They don't have a clue. And to make things even more difficult for the police, Dr. Jekyll finally comes up with his serum. He's gathered up enough female hormones to come up with a serum that he takes himself and drinks. It's like this green liquid, He scarfs it down, and not only does he get the effects of the female hormones, but he actually turns into a woman, and a beautiful woman at that, in Martine Breswick. And it's very interesting. It's a very unusual type of Hammer film. This is definitely something different, and I really enjoyed it. Mixing elements of horror, even slasher films, even, you know. There's actually some pretty gory stuff in there. The kills are very violent and bloody, and there's one scene that really stands out. It's like something straight out of Friday the 13th. You see a knife actually go through the woman's neck and come out the front, you know, and blood splurting everywhere, you know. It's like, damn. This is pretty damn brutal for a Hammer film. And yeah, I'd say this is definitely one of the bloodiest Hammer movies. But yeah, on the other hand, you're dealing with sexuality in an unusual kind of way, because when he turns into Sister Hyde, you know, it's not this grotesque, ugly monster that's the dark side of Dr. Jekyll. It's a woman, and a beautiful woman, and but she is the dark side of Dr. Jekyll, the evil side, because she uses her beauty and her good looks for people to trust, you know. People trust a woman, you know. Other women, when she roams the street, are not going to suspect that she's a vicious murderer, you know. And I'd say the difference between Dr. Jekyll, when he kills young women, it's more like work. He's just doing this for his job because he wants to further his experiments. He doesn't enjoy really what he's doing. He's just doing what he has to do, what he feels he has to do. But Sister Hyde, that's another story. She revels in it. She enjoys what she's doing. She enjoys manipulating her victims and taking advantage of her beauty and her good looks and her charm. And she's very, very charismatic. I mean, Martine Breswick is just fantastic in this role. She's so charming, beautiful, very seductive. And she just does a great job, you know. I love it. I'd say this is one of my favorite Hammer films, and this was a first-time watch for me. Only recently discovered it, actually. But yeah, definitely I'm putting this up in the upper echelon of Hammer films. This is a high-quality film. Definitely one of the best of their 70s output, for sure. And I also thought Ralph Bates was excellent. This was his best performance easily in a Hammer horror film. And I did enjoy him in Taste the Blood of Dracula and, you know, the horror of Frankenstein. You know. Not so much in The Lust for Vampire, but definitely enjoyed him in this movie. He's excellent. And also who's great is Susan Broderick as Susan Spencer. So yeah, there's this family that lives in the same apartment complex as Dr. Jekyll. They live upstairs. Really nice, down-to-earth family, you know, very charming. And Susan is just drop-dead gorgeous. And Howard is a handsome, strapping young lad, you know. Mild-mannered. And yeah, Susan just takes to Dr. Jekyll. She's very intrigued by him, and she falls for him like hook, line, and sinker, you know. Right from the get-go, before she even meets him, she's like totally smitten with him, you know. And when she finally does meet him, it makes it even more so. She really falls in love with him. And he does respond to it. He does think she's very attractive, very kind, very caring young woman. I mean, how could you not? I mean, she's just magnetic. In the beautiful flowing gowns, you know. Very, very well-mannered, well-spoken, and very, very courteous. She cooks breakfast for him in the morning, brings it on a nice tray, you know. She's like ridiculously nice to him. She's just unbelievable. It's like, man, how do I meet a girl like this? No, just kidding. But the difference is Howard, on the other hand, falls in love with the dark side of Dr. Jekyll, Sister Hyde. He ends up running into Sister Hyde. Edwina Hyde actually is her full name. And he's like, wow, look at this girl. And when he first runs into her, it's just when she first turns into Sister Hyde, and she's looking in the mirror, and she's like, pop, and the boobs hanging out. He's like, excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there is some nudity in here, but it's never like really over the top like maybe some of the other later Hammer films, but there is a little bit in there, you know. Very beautiful woman, Martine Beswick, but yeah. Awesome performances all the way around this film. This is one of the best acted Hammer films. It's got an awesome score that's very different. There's some elements of straight-up horror in the score, but then there's also some very orchestra-type music that's more on the happier side, you know. It's not like all straight-up horror, but there are some tense moments in the film, and that's when the real horror comes into the score. But yeah, excellent score. Excellent acting. I love the twist in the Dr. Jekyll story and the elements of the Jack the Ripper in there, the blood and gore. This is just a fantastic Hammer movie all around, and I highly recommend it. So thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.